Loud. Sorry. So that Abby could see who you all were, and then we would love to put her on the spot. We did let her know ahead of time. We'd love to hear about how she has landed at Heart of Biddeford. And Delilah, feel free, since this is your new partner in crime, if you want to add anything. But for the moment, why don't we just go around the room and just say who you are. Ross.
Okay, I'm Ross Cunningham. I'm the Economic Development Director for the town of Lisbon and running the affiliate Main Street program here.
And Melissa.
Melissa Lindley, Economic Development Director for City of Gardner and former Director of Gardner Main Street.
And Cara.
I'm Cara Romano, Director of Heart of Ellsworth. We're an affiliate community.
Christina.
Oh, I'm not on mute. Look at that. Christina Cannon, Executive Director for Main Street Skowhegan.
Great. And your neighbor across the river, Angie.
I was like, well, that's a big river. Okay, hi, Abby. I'm Angie Presby. I'm the Executive Director for Saco Main Street. We're accredited, and I'm sure we'll be in touch.
Great. And Bill, even though Bill says he's Jane Palmer, we think he's Bill King.
I can't get anybody to fix that.
That's okay.
I'm Bill King. I'm a longtime member of Maine Downtown Center Advisory Council and one of the founders and a founder of Main Street Bath. Been in this game for 30 years. So
Great. Thanks, Bill. And I fixed your name for you. Nancy.
Hi, Nancy Ketch. I'm the Community Development Director for the town of Holton and work with the downtown group here.
And Terry Ann Holden.
Hi, I am Terry Ann Holden. I'm with the Maine Department of Economic and Community Development, the CDBG program, and Brownfield's Revolving Loan Fund, and I'm on the Downtown Center Advisory Council.
Great. So that is who is here today, Abby. Welcome to our Optional Friday Zoom. Delilah, obviously welcome to you. I didn't have you introduce yourself because I think you know everybody. But Abby, we would love to hear, welcome you to the group and hear a little bit about you.
Yeah, hi. Thanks everyone for introducing yourselves. I'm Abby Leibowitz, new Assistant Director for Heart of Biddeford. Excuse me. I am originally from Connecticut, went to UNH for college and then moved to Maine right out of UNH in 2018. So I've been here for 5 years and originally moved to Wells and then moved to Biddeford last September. So I've been in Biddeford for almost a year. But since graduating college, I had worked at the Children's Advocacy Center of York County. So I was getting familiar with all of the kind of like law enforcement, child protective services, partners, community partners, everything like that. And then in these past kind of few months was looking for a bit of a change of pace and saw the Heart of Biddeford position opening. And I live right in downtown Biddeford. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to get more involved in the community in the downtown. And it seemed like a great organization. So I'm very grateful that Delilah chose to hire me.
Awesome. We're so excited to have you. And yeah, it's a lovely Main Street family and affiliate family. And it's a great field, this community and economic development field. So welcome. And looks like there's something in the chat. Delilah doing a dance emoji. I can see why. Would you like to add anything, Delilah?
Just it's fantastic to have Abby for a colleague already. The other morning I got a, kind of like nudging email from Maine Craft Weekend. And I'm like, oh, when am I gonna fit? Okay, I gotta get Abby. And so
great.
I'm keeping a spreadsheet of like stuff HOB can do now. And so it's just gonna be like, I'm going to just keep growing that and give the council updates and others that what we've been able to do this year because we have Abby here.
Delilah, I can totally relate. I've got an intern this summer and it's been night and day. I've been pawning stuff off on them. And actually now I'm making the argument that I might need an assistant a couple days a week. So it's working.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And I can only relate too well because Sylvie is coming up on being with the Downtown Center full-time for a year. And it's been quite a gift to me as well. So I hear all of you in the capacity department. And Perry Williams is going to be full-time at the Downtown Center. She's been working part-time on another initiative at MDF, but she's going to be on our team. So that's really empowering for us to be able to have 3 of us working statewide. National has always used the formula that for every 10 communities you work in, you should have 1 FTE. And it's never been that way. So this is quite incredible. We currently have 24 communities. So to have 3 of us being able to support you all and, you know, just be there and do more innovative and kind of planful work. As you may have noticed, our events for an entire year have actually were planned and are rolling out that way. And that's the first time in my tenure that we were able to go 12 months ahead and actually follow through and not put something on the calendar and be like, oh, we had to change it. So our newsletter has been solidly, you know, out for communication for a number of years regularly, which was another kind of thing that I felt was a priority when I took over, but having our events and trainings and in-person Downtown Institute coming up in September. So capacity really helps, and it's exciting to see Heart of Biddeford be able to have this opportunity, because for a long time, it's just been Delilah plus, how much time was Juanita? Half time?
Half up to 30.
Yeah. So this is great. So welcome, Abby, and cheers to capacity all around the room. Let's see. Cara, right, Sylvie? So we, Cara Romano, one of our affiliate directors, one of our few actual professional staff at an affiliate program, has done an amazing thing on her website, and really we thought it would be a great inspiration and model for her to share with us this morning. So that's our first thing up. Cara, are you able to share, or do we need to make you? Let me see. You should be.
I think I can.
Okay.
Just need to get it. Just need to get it.
I made
up.
you a co-host just in case.
Thank you. And share screen.
And yeah, set the stage. You have it. You have the
Sure.
microphone, my dear.
Well, thank you all, and thanks for the time. And I just want to start out kind of riffing off of the last conversation. This whole entire business benefits page on our website, as well as the resource tool that I'm going to highlight, was actually done by Rachel. I'm not sure, unfortunately, she's not in the picture with Matt from the Maine Downtown Center, and Sylvie's right in the background there. And actually I was going to let her do this presentation today, because she really made this entire project possible, because there's no possible way I could have done this gigantic lift without her. But she doesn't work on Fridays, and so it just ended up being that I was going to make the presentation, but she really got this whole thing off the ground. And so big props to all of us having a little bit more capacity, and to all of us who are working toward that. I would say what we've done lately has been really looking at our entire projected budget for the year, and all of the money that we've spent on independent contractors. We've sort of been looking at that as, maybe that entire $65,000, that's just what we've been spending on independent contractors for the past couple of years. Perhaps maybe it's time to be thinking about that from a position standpoint and getting one other person in. So kind of trying to use our resources a little differently, and to see how that goes. So that's just a little bit about where we are from high level point of view. And this page that is on our website is sort of what we realized through our entrepreneurial ecosystem work, that's really, we need to do a better job at identifying, how our community is and our organization differs from the chamber and our economic development department. Sort of what are we offering our community as far as entrepreneurial and business support that these other two entities are not? How does ours differ? And, how do we also work together with them? So through the entrepreneurial ecosystem program, it really helped us understand how our work was differing and sort of where the gaps were, and how we could continue to work through. So all of you probably are able to pick up this page from our website. It's under our resources and programs tab. And what we did was we were requested by the city of Ellsworth to sort of put this together because they were having a real hard time understanding how we differed and really trying to understand like what benefit is the Heart of Ellsworth to our community, and really is this a valuable program for us to put resources into as appropriations and resources from the community. So I would say that the ecosystem program, for at least for Heart of Ellsworth, was really transformational for us and our understanding about who we are and sort of what we offer in the community. And the power was not only in having Matt Wagner, coming to our community, but it was also through going through a lot of all of this with all of you that are on this call and learning about what you folks do. A lot of these things, these marketing opportunities, business programs, events, networks, resource advocacy, and the customization, which I'll talk about in a minute. All of that are things that all of you already do, and just getting it down on paper was really sort of where we felt it was a good use of time. So what I'll do now is I'm going to switch to the actual brochure, which is a little confusing because this was intended for paper, so it's a trifold thing. So this free business benefits piece with the Grand Theater painting is sort of the cover page, if you can picture that. And then the very back is, sort of trying to get people to understand that you get out of things what you put into them. And so we're kind of encouraging them to participate. We were thinking about calling them participant business benefits, but it seemed confusing. The word free is catchy. I'll talk in a minute about why free is not always the best situation we've found. And then on the back cover, the downtown district, we decided that we really needed to, on here, explain to folks what the parameters were of our downtown footprint that we adhere to, that we cover. It's been very, very, very divisive in our community, and it's sometimes that it's come to sort of haunt us a little bit, but as you all know, we can only do what we can do well, and trying to sort of cover the area that is our district is sometimes even feels like a lot. So the inside, again, is sort of broken up into kind of all of these different areas that we feel kind of highlight groups of ways that we support. So with the network piece, we as an organization, whether it be the board, volunteers, or staff, all have different people that we know in the community. And so if businesses are looking, which happens a lot, we get emails asking us, hey, looking to sell my building, looking for a painter, those sorts of things. Those emails that you answer every day sometimes seem like so mundane, and maybe sometimes like, oh God, another one. But those are really, really valuable in your community, and something that I think a lot of people don't think about, that we take for granted. So we were like, this really needs to be down on paper to let the people who don't think about us that way call on us, because there already is a group of people who are calling on us, and this is something that we do. All of your events, again, moving over to the right side, these things, as you all well know, and do them because they increase foot traffic. We really need businesses to start to look at these, at least in our town, as ways that they can sort of hitch their wagon to these events, have events inside their shop or in their eatery or what have you, and really use them to leverage sales and to create other events inside that we can in turn make part of. And these are just two of our events that we do. We didn't have a lot of room, wanted to keep it simple. Our business programs, moving over back to the center in the purple, the business programs, you know, we do our downtown grants. A lot of different Main Street organizations do a similar one. And then the Bricks and Clicks, which we stole from Main Street America and a couple of other communities around the country. And just kind of, again, trying to get these down and showing people that these are revenue streams, these expand your operations, and they help you partner with other entrepreneurs. Moving over to the orange box, the advocacy piece, a lot of people, we were excited once we sort of started to kind of figure this out. A couple of times this year, we've been asked to write letters. For example, the LD 1810, I think it was about historic tax credits. Tara Kelly reached out to us and asked us to write a letter of support. It happened to be that Nicole Grahowski, the representative of the and head of the taxation committee, happened to be our district rep, is the one who is the lead. And so she reached out to us and asked us if we would write a letter because Nicole is from our town. So again, trying to connect and highlight these kind of behind the scenes things that a lot of businesses don't think about, and that we do go to city council. We do ask them repeatedly for trash cans on Main Street, bathrooms on Main Street, all these things that a lot of other Main Street communities have, but are not present yet in Ellsworth. And so just letting the businesses know that we're advocating on their behalf and letting them know that, you know, the city of Ellsworth is connected to the main downtown center and then National Main Street. Again, to you guys, these things seem really simple, meaning these three logos together, but perhaps we're even missing one, and perhaps maybe even the main preservation should be on there. I'm not sure. Looking at it now, I'm thinking maybe we should. And then the last two, you know, resources, just letting folks know that we've done a couple of these different studies and that there are lots of survey results that they could use when writing grants, and that our research definitely benefits them. And then the last one, which is the last point that I really kind of feel is important to try to drive home, and I think it's our biggest value as an organization, is that what we found is that our ability to tailor our offerings and to sort of be nimble and to move sort of our business, to let people know that we are able to customize our offerings to them to fit whatever their needs are at the time. That's something that, at least for us in Ellsworth, I don't think our chamber, they're almost 35, maybe 40 years old. And economic development, when you're thinking about government, you know, both of them are either very married to the way that their organization is structured, or they have to be adhering to the way that government sort of has to do things. For us, you know, we have the ability to write grants. We have the ability to at any moment sort of change our minds about what we want to focus on or what need we see. And so we really feel that at least for right now, is a huge asset for us. And we think that it's a big asset for the businesses. The one last thing, and I guess I'm going to close my presentation with a question to all of you, is this word free. We feel and have felt for years that people don't necessarily, or businesses don't necessarily value us because we are free to them. And they don't need to support us if they don't want to. We're there at any time if they have an email question or if they want us to come into their business, and we don't deny anybody. But we have found that sometimes we're overlooked because we're free. And I just wonder sort of what everyone kind of thinks about the word free and how that's sort of received in business in your towns. And perhaps maybe we would get rid of the word free if we could think of something better. So I'm going to stop sharing screen, and I'll put a couple of links in the chat so that you folks can.
That's great. Thanks so much, Cara. First of all, love that you used the award painting in your brochure. It really looks beautiful. And I'd love to get a PDF so I can send it to the artist. So that's just a little sidebar. She's a new artist from a commercial standpoint, and I'd like her to see that. The discussion of free, I'm putting it out there to all of you because it's a fascinating discussion. Ross.
Thanks. I mean, I think free is is a tough one. You're right, because people value things that cost them money and they overlook things that are free. And same thing with concerts. If it's a free concert, they may or may not go. If they spent $5 on it, they're much more likely to go. It's a silly thing, but there it is. I do think you have an opportunity on your brochure to put, I don't know it's all done and I apologize, but a thought that at the bottom, you could say all of these events and stuff are provided free to our businesses. Any way to just, any interest in supporting us, you could make a donation here. Just throw that in your thing somewhere. So it just comes to light that they have, oh, okay, we do need to support this group somehow for all of these great things that you're talking about. Just my 2 cents.
Great.
Well, you have great timing because while this thing is published, we did a short run of like 30 of them and just handed them out at our most recent coffee and donuts thing that we've started doing. And so we have time, and I'm really glad that this presentation happened because I'm excited to hear what everybody else has to say. And Ross, we will add that. That is a great point.
Delilah.
Yeah, well, I wrote free is such a good word at the beginning because, it's the most like clicked on thing. I think people will read something that says free. And I totally think it's complex because you also have to get them to support. But I think it could be like a way to have a conversation about non-transactional relationships. You're not supporting us because you get these. We're doing these things. Now we'd like you to back us in doing it. That's not the same as you paying me $100 and then you get to call me angry that you didn't make $100 at the event I held outside your door. So I think probably the brochure should spell that out. These are free. We're doing this. Now we're looking for you to support the business contribution portion of our budget, which our goal this year is $21,000. I made that number up.
I like that though, so that we can keep it free, right?
Yeah, well, sort of. That's
Well, and similarly, part of the language that's on National Main Street, and I believe that we may have it somewhere on our page as well, is the issue that we're doing this work for everybody, for the community, for all the businesses. We are open and welcoming to all, that message that this isn't transactional and this isn't, you pay a membership and we promote you. It's everybody. And I just think that's kind of at the core of the Main Street approach in most programs. There are, some nationally that are membership based, but the beauty of the program is that it's for everybody. So anyway, I'm thinking in there a little bit. Other comments or thoughts for Cara on this? Nancy.
Yeah, I like Delilah's thought about saying, yes, we're doing this, you should support us. If you wanted to take the free out of it, you might say something like valuable business benefits, or if you wanted alliteration, it could be bountiful business benefits or something like that.
Awesome. Melissa. It's okay.
Sorry, I have 3 screens and they're not in the same, they're not organized.
Wow, the municipality gives you 3 screens.
Well, yeah, I have to pull out my laptop for a camera. Anyway, 2 things. Another word that isn't as catchy as free is complimentary. It sort of is the same thing, but maybe not as like grabbing, like you're going to take stuff from us. But also what I did when I was at Main Street and I would kind of do a brief overview of what we do, I would kind of throw out that funding chart of how, we get our money from events and the city and donors, because a lot of times people would think that we are an arm of the city. So even if it's just like, how is, Gardner Main Street funded, and then just throw that chart, and it's like, if you want to help, keep this going, here's how you can.
It's a good point.
Melissa, do you have an image, or do you have access still to an image that you could share with me?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I made a slideshow once and I can share it with you all.
I would love that, because that chart would be wonderful just to put out on social media for us to really identify. I think it would be very effective considering the fact, just so all of you know, we last year received $2,500 from the city for appropriations. And this year, I think we ended up getting like 8,000. So we're starting to like
That's great.
inch up there.
That's
It is
great.
good. It's huge. I'm trying to lower my standards a little bit.
I know, but I'm excited to hear that.
Yes,
I think
good.
a number of main streets also use the pie chart. I don't know if it's Christina in your annual report. Do you have such a chart? No. Okay. Well, I've seen a pie chart from a local main
think I do.
street that
I'll look.
maybe it's Biddeford. Thanks. Anyway, another way to represent that funding, and it is great because the businesses don't have a clue. Other thoughts or comments for Cara?
I think this is great. And I think free, and maybe it's just because I'm in a conservative community, but people resonate with free up here. So like free, yeah. So anyway, I thank you for this. I'm working on a little bit of a messaging / website revamp over the next little while. And so I'm gonna steal some of these ideas. So thanks.
Well, Christina, please do share. We would be honored. And I just have to tell you that Skowhegan is what I use all the time as our sister community. You guys are like the same makeup. We're just not where you guys are. So
Well, we're proud to be a sister community to Ellsworth.
And I intend to steal some of this too, Karen, just so you know. It's a great messaging page, and I think a lot of us ought to have this kind of messaging out there to show what we do and why it's beneficial. Because I'm municipal, but I get it.
well, thank you guys, because this was a lot of work. I wish Rachel could hear, but there's a recording. I'm going to make her watch the recording. Thank you. You guys, this means a lot from you guys because you all know what all of this is. So thank you.
Great. And Delilah put in the chat her annual report and does it. Yeah, there's the pie chart. Right. Thanks, on page 3. Thank you, Delilah. So that link is in the chat for you to take a look at. Oh, Bill, yes.
Yeah, I just, I don't know. I've been trying to think back where Bath might have used the word free. I don't think we ever used the word free. What we concentrate on, though, is showing people who is in support of what we do. I mean, Amanda did the Heritage Days and made a list of all the businesses and individuals who contributed dollars to Heritage Days. The list was a full page long. It was very impressive. That's the kind of thing that really gets people to say, why aren't I on that list? Gosh, maybe I should support Main Street. Give them some money. Maybe I should go down and have the fun with them.
I love that. That's a good one. Bill loves the competition, right? That it makes the businesses among each other, the communities among each other. It's a good point, Bill.
That's right.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks, Cara. It was really great. And I love that there's pieces of it that a lot of us will use. That's what Sylvie and I thought when we saw what Cara had done. We were like, we got to share this. So great job. We are going to go into some quick breakout rooms, the Main Streets with me, and the affiliate communities with Sylvie, just for a couple minutes.
Bill,
What do
where
you
do
think?
you want to go?
Bill, where do you want to go? Main Streets or affiliates today?
Where would you like me to go?
Well, we have Terry
You
Ann
don't have
too.
to tell me that.
Oh, that's right, and Terry Ann. All right, I'll
Terry
just
Ann.
split you. I'll split you each.
Great.
Split you up.
That sounds good. Terry Ann, do you have a preference?
Wherever you want me.
Okay, great. It's just for Sylvie, 5 minutes, just pretty short.
Yeah, probably 5 minutes.
Okay, great. So we'll do that. See you in a minute.
Here we go. Hopefully I got these names all correct. Okay, bye-bye Main Streets. Terry Ann, I kept you with us. So you can.
Like Terry Ann.
Oh, and you know what? This one didn't give me a prompt to time it. So I'm going to set a timer manually here because I will easily lose track of time. And then we are going to talk about an upcoming opportunity, a revitalization roadmap opportunity. Awesome. So Nancy has experience with this, and actually Deb Faye has gone through it most recently, and I asked her to join us, but she ended up needing to kind of middle of the night last night say, I'm not going to be able to make it, which is no problem. But there is the Downtown Revitalization Services, which some of you may have seen in the expo section of the national conference. Ben Levinger, it used to be him and his company kind of, business of one. He has now since sold the company, but he is still involved as the consultant who goes down and really develops a revitalization roadmap for a downtown. But that's his specialty, is going in, getting community feedback through some in-person interactions, community meetings with counselors, as well as a community survey, and working directly with the downtown group to set this up, and then developing some recommendations that are typically, we used to say they were like free, pretty low-hanging fruit, but I would say what I experienced between Old Town and Hallowell, and then Nancy, I'm going to open it up for you to share your experience with him in Holton, that it was like low cost, like somewhat low barrier to maybe more of a bigger dream project. And he really solicits that from this downtown group of like, what do you all like? What are you interested in? Like, in some ways, like, is there anything you like need me to like consider a project that you really want to happen? But it's about start to finish a 7 to 10 week process, but really it's a couple Zooms with Ben, the downtown center, and the downtown group in the community that's selected. I think it's 2 kind of prep Zooms, and then he's on the ground for, I'll say, a few days. It varies a little bit, but he comes boots on the ground for about a few days. And that's, and in preparation for that, the community survey has gone out. He kind of develops that in collaboration with the community and the downtown group, to say, anything you want to ask about specifically, here's, his traditional template, but wording can get, nuanced and everything, so that it just feels appropriate to the community. And then he ends up giving all of that raw data back to the downtown group. So you all have that in terms of the community voices. And he uses that to help inform his recommendations, along with then setting up a schedule of meeting with, again, like city councilors, city staff, to hear their feedback about the downtown. He also sets out at least one, usually a couple opportunities for just kind of open forum community meetings. And usually it varies in community, but what I saw was one that was really like solicitous of information if people didn't fill out the survey, but they were better in person to get information. And then he ended up doing kind of a workshopping session where he had some initial ideas kind of printed out visually, laid out, and then, kind of did the stickers, posted notes kind of, exercise with people coming in and saying, "Ooh, I love this idea," or like, no, you could never do that because of this reason, or, we hate this, but we really want this, and here's what you haven't suggested. So a pretty interactive session. And then at the end, he develops a recommendations report. And I'm going to share that quickly, just the one that this is an abbreviated version of the report that he ended up presenting to Hallowell City Council. Can you all see that? Okay.
Yep.
And I'll just breeze through this, but this is something he puts together after he's had those few days in the community, and decides, I have too many things on my screen and it won't let me advance it. Let's see. Hold on, let me close this down. Oh, that's right. It's because it's anyway, he presented this to City Council via Zoom. So after the fact, there we go. So some of this reflects what he heard from the community and kind of that surveying, He ended up in Hallowell meeting with every single downtown business owner in his time there and getting their feedback. So he tries to do a really just like comprehensive job of like on the ground information and then processing it and saying, you know, here's what I heard from the community. Here are some recommendations. Here are the different kind of sections for his recommendations. A lot of design, but in general, he tries to kind of consider all 4 points. He can't say the 4 points. And we're going to have to go back to the group here. So I'll open it to you, Nancy, in just a moment, but he can't say the 4-point approach, but he is a member of MSA and he tries to reference that so that it's really in our kind of Main Street speak. But here is an example for the built environment. He recommended some design guidelines, so something more regulatory. He recommended a parking analysis because that's something that came up as an issue for a number of either businesses or folks in the community. Here's one of his big ideas. This was a lower hanging fruit project that they've started moving forward on. I can't remember where they are in the process. So, but turning this into something rather than kind of being a little bit of a dark, sketchy like alleyway that's right between 2 very popular downtown businesses, you know, creating something that has some seats, some lighting, and that's something that, you know, Vision Hallowell has in their budget alone. And the city was game to say, yeah, like, let's do this. So anyway, it continues from there, but I'm going to stop this share. This report goes on. So it's lots of big ideas. This one got down to something a little more in depth in terms of a walk near the river and activating that space. But I'm going to put the RFP in the chat. The process is that we are opening this to affiliates only. That's why we're having a little affiliate breakout, and it's due in a month, August 15th. And it's a pretty straightforward, you know, no bells and whistles for this RFP, but just give us the information of like, why do you think this would help your community? And it is free. So this is something that Ben has partnered with us for the last, few years, I'll say. He's done it a couple times, and we are benefiting from him loving to come to Maine and doing this work with us. So we were able to work this out for free for the community. So just need the engagement really. So okay, Nancy, give us 30 seconds on your experience with it, and then I'm going to pop this link in the chat.
I will
too.
say it's a great opportunity. You know, he looks at things, you know, objectively. So we did find some people, you know, people don't like to hear the things that you maybe are doing wrong, but I think it's healthy to get that outside perspective. Unfortunately, we did it in 2019, so we were just starting to go through some of the recommendations and bumped up against the pandemic. But as our group has kind of gotten revived over the last 10 months or so, we've gone back and looked at that, looked at some of the recommendations. We've got a report very similar to what she just showed, and I'm happy to share that with anyone if they like. The one thing we did, he had sorted it by those different categories he had. And we're like, we want it in the order of when it should be done. Like, do this first, do this first. And so we kind of made him break his mold a little bit and do that. But
and he's very open to that. Like he really
wants valuable information in it. And some of those things you mentioned, like the interactive things, he had big maps with markers or stickers or things, and like show us where, if is there a dangerous intersection, and you could see, because people could take a marker and it's like, it doesn't matter if somebody else did. So there was a couple of places where there was big marker circles. It's like, this is dangerous. We need to do something about this. So it's a good process to go through. And the fact that you're not paying anything, I think it's about a $20,000 value. It's worth applying for. Encourage you. And if I can provide any information to anybody, I'm happy to.
Thanks for being in contact on that, Nancy.
Absolutely.
And yeah, definitely Cara and Ross, you know, let me know if you have questions. I put that RFP link in the chat, and I'll also send that out as an attachment to this meeting. So
Sylvie, quick question.
Yes.
I know we're short on time, but I'm interested in this very much, but I'm interested in the part of our town that's not developed, not in our Main Street. I think our Main Street is doing really well, but we are split, and it officially fall under our Main Street footprint, but it desperately needs help. And it's really, you know, they're 6 miles apart. It's a valuable discussion of what to do with this end of town, and it's got its own Main Street. So I don't know if this qualifies. So let's talk about this offline, but it's an
great question. Great question. Go ahead.
How much time do we have left? Because I have a couple of questions, but I don't want to take away.
I told him we need another minute, so let's do your questions.
Okay, the first one is, you kind of started to touch on it, but how has the Maine Downtown Center kind of come by this resource and the funds to, I'm just wondering.
Yeah. So we are not paying him either. Anne has developed this relationship. So that was prior to me. And so I don't know,
Okay.
at what point he said for the first time.
I think they met at the national conference and he said, I'll offer to do this for a community. I think it's sort of like you give something free at the door so people come in and buy something. I think he's hoping to get business.
And last year we were able to pay him for one community or I think we split it with a community, maybe. I can't remember what that agreement was. Again, it was just before my time, and then he also did one for free. And this year he said, hey, I'd love to come back and do one. And we said, okay, we don't have any money to pay you for one. He was okay with that.
Oh, okay. That's good to know just a little bit. And then is he able, you were talking about he's affiliated with the Main Street America, but he's not Main Street America. Would he be able to sort of make a clear recommendation at the end of all of this that a community become a Main Street community and that be their next step and like the big thing they need to do?
That's a great question. So something that I saw him recommend was organizational in, let's see, it was Old Town. And so he was recommending to Old Town that they become an affiliate because that would be the next kind of step. So where I know his hands are a little tied in terms of like using the Main Street America 4-point approach, like, verbatim, I would be surprised if they wouldn't want him to tell a community, I recommend you become a Main Street, but we can find that out. Because I think your wheels are turning in a good direction.
He did give us organizational things because we're still, even then we were, trying to get ourselves together. And so many of his recommendations were around formalizing the group. We were already an affiliate, but we didn't have an active committee. So we started doing some of that sort of work, like doing the vision statement, the mission statement, working on the bylaws, and then the pandemic hit. So it kind of pushed us back for a couple of years.
And I did invite the group back just because I realized it's going to be a 60 seconds if they don't. But
I have
another question. Go ahead.
One more, then I'm done. And perhaps, Nancy, this is for you, and I'm sure Sylvia, was well, but how long did the process take?
Like
he does say it's 7 to 10 weeks.
Yep.
And it's really like opening couple Zoom meetings and then that 3 or 4 days of him being like boots on the ground. And then it's another couple weeks on the other end because he's developing the report. He sends it to the community, asks for feedback, and then kind of finalizes that report and then is open to virtually reporting it to city council or, however else it wants to be kind of shared out. Sorry, Main Street, for continuing our conversations.
That's okay.
We were able to even have him come to a Rotary meeting because he was here during that time and share. And I think it was the same day he came to a council meeting. Wasn't the final, but he just happened to still be in town. So we used the opportunity.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Nancy. That helps paint a complete picture. Thank you.
Great. So literally, that was our formal agenda, like everything we went through, Cara and announcements and our little breakout rooms. So we have about 13 minutes left officially. Are there anything that anybody would like to throw out as a topic or discussion? Ross.
Well, it's real quick. I let Ann know this yesterday, but I'm going up to Burlington, Vermont in a couple of weeks for a long weekend, 4 days. And they actually have an affiliate program up there called Church Street Marketplace. Hopefully they're not flooded because a lot of Vermont's suffering through that. But I'm going to actually meet with their director and have a conversation. It's very interesting. It's 8 people and they're all municipal and they're all part of the town government. So if you guys have time and take a look at their website and page and have any questions, feel free to email me and I'll bring it up during our conversation.
That would be really fun to have you report out on what you learn. Obviously, an 8-person team of a theoretical neighborhood of a metropolitan Vermont city is quite a lot of staff. And my recollection is it includes things that like we don't have in Maine, design professionals, infrastructure, streetscape, and then everything else. but that's a great idea.
What
To
was
take
the
a
name
look.
again? Church Street?
Church Street, yeah, we can find the.
I'll
link
throw
and-
I'll throw it in the chat.
Thanks. Great idea, Ross. Other things to throw out that you would like feedback on or want to share this morning? And you know, I'm all about wrapping early if that's the will of the group. Christina.
I can't announce the funding source yet, but we just learned that we were awarded $99,000 for our kitchen project, our commercial kitchen project. And it's not for construction or materials, it's actually for staff time to work on the curriculum for that. So that's even more amazing. So, I mean, all of it's amazing, but like the fact that it's going to go directly to fund Patrick's time to work on the curriculum is amazing. So
that is amazing. Okay,
yeah.
Isn't part of the funding, okay, I don't want to spoil the thing. I mean, for months, I feel like there was an identified funding source for this project. No?
So MTI.
Okay, well, I didn't want to say it out loud.
us.
Okay.
Yeah, we that was in January we found out that MTI gave us 195.
So this is in addition to MTI.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Congrats.
That's exciting.
It's very exciting. So
the shared commercial kitchen model, like Fork Food Lab in Portland, actually they just moved to South Portland, is just such an amazing thing and fits so well with Skowhegan's food systems work and local foods transformational strategies. Like it's so awesome. Really cool.
Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyway, it's good news.
That is good
work.
news. Wow.
Thanks.
Anybody else have something they want to throw out?
Well, I'll jump in that one of the new things this year for the CDBG program, we take letters of intent for economic development projects the first of every month, which started July 1st. So if you have businesses that are looking to grow, they may be hiring folks. We aren't funding construction, but it's mainly working capital or equipment purchases. So kind of check out our website and keep that in mind. I know
Maureen, how many
Biddeford has their own
applications-
money though.
How many
Correct.
applications did you get the first round?
I think we had 9 come in that first weekend.
Excellent.
Melissa, can you make sure to share that with Tamara because she had that one business, the
Yeah, I was
high-end
thinking of that.
woodworking business who's looking specifically for equipment. And when we were identifying sources within your larger department, Terry Ann, I guess I didn't realize that piece. Because who did we send Tamara
Jake
to? Sylvie?
Daniel.
To Daniel.
Jake Daniel. Mhm.
Jake Daniel. Okay. So that's great. And Sylvie, let's both put it in our heads to get this, to make sure we share it through communications channels. That's great, Terry Ann.
Is there,
Absolutely.
is there a link to the page, Terry Ann?
I don't have the long convoluted link, but it's just if you go meocd.org, it'll eventually get you there.
Okay.
Or if you go on DECD's website from maine.gov.
And just look, there's a link that says CDBG program, and it'll
Yeah.
take you right to all the documents.
Oh yeah, here's the application and project development form.
Thank you.
You want to throw it in the chat for the quick term,
Yeah.
Sylvie? Thank you.
There it is.
And we'll make sure today, just to, in follow-up, share the chat as well, since there's a lot of really good links in the chat today. That's great, Terry, and that's exciting. And I literally, like in Gardner, there's someone specifically wanting to expand. And so this is great news for lots of it. Okay. Angie. Oops, we can't hear you.
You're not on mute.
I know. I don't know what's going on. Her audio was doing this the other day.
Do you want to put it in the chat?
Yeah, it's so strange.
Huh.
Okay. Well,
While
Angie's
she's working
on- yeah.
on that. Yeah, I'm just gonna mention that we have a no Zoom August coming up. So we will not have our Friday monthly Zoom in August. So you all can spend that hour in the sunshine, hopefully. And as you know, for those participating in the Entrepreneur Ecosystem Project, we're also taking time off from our EE Connects, but we are available. So, reach out to us as needed for anything.
Yeah, we are just committed to canceling all Zoom meetings for August. It doesn't mean we're on vacation. I mean, we might be, but in general, we're just like, let's just ban Zoom for August, kind of like no mo May. I was like, no Zoom August. So although I need to come up with a catchier title. But as Sylvie said, please reach out. We are available. Great. Okay, and I not hearing anything else. Looking
And you'll
for-
have to let us know what your
Yeah.
question is.
and I'll stay on for a couple minutes. Sylvie and I will, but I think we are officially dismissed and we will stop recording. And let us know if you have any questions. We'll hang out for a few minutes. And have a great Friday. Thank you,
Great.
everybody.
Good to see you all. Happy Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Cara.
Yeah, that was great.